how this change happened for them. With this in mind, I would like to invite our first speaker, Alexandra, to share her presentation. But before that, I would like to share with all of you that Alexandra was born and grew up in Bogota, the capital of Colombia. She did her undergraduate in physics education at the Universidad Distrital Francisco José de Caldat, and then spent several years working in developing physics tests for large-scale assessment of education in Colombia. She combined her work in education assessment with her master studies at the Universidad de los Andes, where she worked on her thesis. During this time, she worked with Professor Carlos Tojedos. Later on, she then moved to University of Oxford, and over there she finished her doctoral studies in 2005, and right after this obtained a junior research fellowship of Trinity College. Oh my God, a lot of interesting research experience, and of course I hope that Alexandra will share a lot of these points and some secrets how she obtained all this scholarship today with us. And speaking about what was good for her, what struggles she made and encountered. Throughout her career, Alexandra has made scientific contribution to the understanding of signatures and implication of quantum coherence in a variety of quantum systems, but include exciton condensats in quantum wells. I'm so sorry. I think you can see that I'm not a scientist and this is a no language for me, but it's with definitely a big pleasure and a great enthusiasm and respect for her work. We invite Alexandra Olaya Castro to share more about her work and some thoughts and definitely her presentation. And just to mention that this was based on her recent talk she did for TEDx. Alexandra, I will give you now the opportunity to present from your side.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just waiting to receive the slides for the presentation.
Let me know when you are all set and you have the presentation.
Okay, just give me a second here. Yes, so are you all seeing the screen?
Yes, perfectly. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So good day, greetings everyone. Thank you very much to Clarissa and Diana for this invitation. I am very happy. And even though it might seem straightforward, the career, by no means it has been like that. My path, even though exciting as it has been, has not been a straight line. And at every turn that I have taken, at every upside or down step that I took, what I focused on was on learning the main lessons that these turns and upside downs would leave. And today what I would like to share with you is one of those main lessons, and is how I learned to break unconsciously or consciously stereotypes that were stopping me from moving forward. So as Diana said, I first started my undergraduate studies at the university, at a public university in Bogota, and then I combined this with work, fell in love with physics, then did my master in physics and was determined to continue studying physics, so applied for several scholarships that I got to go to Oxford, and kept fascinated by physics. That led me to write a research proposal, and then I obtained this research fellowship, and after that I still was in love with physics, but now it was physics with biology, got another fellowship that moved me to University College London, and I've been in University College London since 2008 until now that I'm an associate professor there. But what I would like to share with you is that even though it might seem easier, this path in academia, it hasn't been easy at all. And what I have faced along the lines has been these stereotypes that at all times we're putting these obstacles for me to move forward. So let me start by telling you a story. The Institute of Physics in the UK is an institution that has a tradition of awarding prizes and medals to scientists working in the UK and who are making contributions to the development of physics. Among those prizes is the Maxwell and Medal Prize, which recognizes important contributions to theoretical physics. Since 1962 and for 44 years, only men were awarded this prize. But something started happening a decade ago. And for the last 10 years, 5 out of the 10 awardees have been women. I had the honor to be one of them, and I received this prize last year. But well beyond my personal satisfaction, having received this prize is important for one specific reason. It is an example of something that is happening worldwide. The contributions of women are finally starting to be acknowledged, highlighted, and championed in all professional areas. And at the same time, women are choosing areas of work that are traditionally dominated by men. Now, in my opinion, these necessary changes, which are needed for society and for the scientific development, technological development, in general, economic growth of the world, these changes are too slow. These recognitions of women contributions to all the areas is a process that, for my liking, is too slow. The question is why? Well, in my opinion, the main reason these changes are being slow is because societies are attached to stereotypes of all kinds, stereotypes that are of gender, stereotypes that tell us that boys cannot dance ballet, stereotypes that tell us that we need to judge people by the color of their skin, the stereotypes that essentially in the worst cases dehumanize. So for me, these stereotypes are dangerous and pose a really obstacle to the advancements of all societies. So let me give you an example. According to the worldwide view, I as a woman should have not studied physics. In particular, as a Colombian woman, I should have never studied physics. And let alone becoming a professor at a university, at one of the best universities in the world. So the question is how I managed to break that stereotype and actually do that wasn't expected of me. I grew up in a socioeconomic context where there are very, very low expectations for girls and boys to go to university. In fact, statistics show that less than the 10% of the young population of this context of low-income families access university of any kind of post-high school university. And these are the statistics from 2016, so it was worse 20 years ago when I was in this context. By the way, don't think about how old I am right now. I also would like to share that my parents belong to that generation of people who didn't have access to even finish high school, so they did so with a strong effort. And the education, even at school, the books that I was given at the time, many of them portray women who didn't have the need or the desire of go to further education. For instance, La Maria is a book that is written by Jorge Isaacs, a Colombian author, and everybody used to read it at school. I don't know nowadays, but at that time, everybody used to read it at school. And the main character of this book is a woman who is in love with her cousin, and she's at home becoming a good girl, that is learning how to cook, learning how to clean, learning how to be a good girl of the house while he was studying abroad, precisely in London. So this is the kind of books that we were reading, and we were never encouraged to criticize or to see if that's the kind of women that we want to be portrayed in the books. So this is just to give you an example how the whole context, not just socioeconomic, but even the education that we had access to, portray an image of women in which education wasn't needed. So from that perspective, actually defined my future. I was meant to finish high school, maybe access or no university, most likely not, according to the statistics. But as I have said always, I am a rebel. And I wasn't going to let the contest to define who I'd be or what I would do. I knew that there was a plan B, and that plan B was the university. And with the help of my family, and by studying and achieving the necessary score in the exams that will allow me to enter into the university, I managed to access university and start studying physics. Now, in order to understand how important is to have taken this plan B, which is how I call to go against the stereotype, it's important to understand what is a stereotype. A stereotype, I define it as a good physicist as a social black hole. A black hole in physics is something that traps everything, including light. For me, stereotypes are social black holes that trap the ideas of extraordinarily creative and talented minds. So the question is, what do we do? How can we break these stereotypes? How we can disintegrate these stereotypes that are preventing people from exploiting all their potential? And what I have learned through my career is what I would like to share with you now. And it's 3 key features that I have discovered this plan B should have to be able to overcome these stereotypes and essentially be successful in the sense that you discover what you really want to do and you actually do it. So the first feature of this plan B is that it implies to take that first step that is not easy because it will take you out of your comfort zone. It might not be within the expectations that your context has about you, but that is necessary to trigger a change of events that takes you from that reduced options that the stereotype offers to a worldwide of alternatives. In my case, having started studying physics at this public university in Bogota took me to a literally world of alternatives. Through my career, I have been in different universities throughout the world. And when I started, I never imagined that 10 years later, I would be doing a PhD in physics in one of the best universities in the world. Now, it's not that when you start with that, but you know that and that's part of the plan B. That's part of those steps. Now, this is the second what you are passionate about. It's essentially to get fully out of your comfort zone, find what you like, and now explore every single possible side of what you like. In my case, I am passionate about everything that contradicts my intuition. And that's precisely why I love physics. And the first idea I came across physics was the idea that electrons, these small particles, we cannot know exactly where they are. And this idea, it was puzzling me for many years. And I remember one day I dreamed about this idea, and I dreamed that I have seen the electrons and I knew exactly how they were. I woke up, and as it happens always in the dreams, I forgot. But what I remember about this dream, what it told me, is that I really love physics and that I wanted to know more and more. So this is why I started what I decided to do, a master and later a PhD in physics. And during my master and during my PhD, I followed this passion. I wanted to understand this particular crazy idea of quantum physics where things can be in 2 different options at the same time, and how is it possible that we only know what option is when we measure, etc. It was a crazy idea that I was so passionate about it that it led me to study it during my master's, during my PhD, and to tell you the truth, I'm still passionate about it. And I am still studying it. But I'm still studying it, again, in a way that contradicts the stereotype. It happens that it is possible to find that this phenomena, you might be able to need it to explain how the molecules that are responsible for us being able to breathe function. So I came across the need to link something that was in physics to something that I never thought would be linked to, and it was biology. And this example brings me to the third characteristic characteristic of the plan B. For me, this plan B that breaks the stereotype is something that you will do at first maybe on your own, but that you will only be successful in doing it fully if you engage in a creative and what I have called disruptive conversations, dialogues with others. And others mean other voices, people that might think differently from you, people that might think similar to you, but that you both have one objective, and is to purposefully, generate change. So to illustrate that communities work together to solve the puzzles at the scientific interdisciplinary field. And in that way, I have learned to see the world in the way how biologists see it, in the way quantum chemists see it, and all these communities have managed to now establish this dialogue. And one of the things that I have done to contribute to this is precisely propose works that put in dialogue these disciplines in a coherent manner. Now, again, I haven't done this all by myself. This, as it is always with a plan B, it is a team effort. This slide there just shows how my team, which includes PhD students that include women and men, and postdocs, has changed from 2012 to 2016. You can see one of the norms, even though at the beginning I have equal women and men, even more women than men. With the time, as you advance in science and in the academic career, it is more difficult to find women. That brings me to the final aspect of this option B, plan B. You need to have your contributions and your voice championing by others that are also able to create this
Alexandra?
change that we need. And this slide just shows all the scientists that have helped me. Yes?
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I think we cannot hear you. So I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to make sure that everyone are able to hear your wonderful presentation. So if possible, maybe to speak a little bit slower so that audio will come better quality. Thank you so much. Apologies about this.
Okay, not a problem. So I will go back to the first one. So as I was saying, the plan B, which is how I have called the idea of breaking the stereotype, plan B because it's a counterexample of the plan A, which will be the stereotype. It involves a team effort. And it also involves having people contributing to that change by championing your ideas. So you need to connect to these people who will be ready to champion your ideas. In my case, in this slide, I am showing some of the scientists who I am so grateful with and who have championed my work and my ideas and my way of doing science. Again, as you have seen, there are a few women because this is a feature that has happened in science. Unfortunately, we have very few women. And part of doing this is also encouraging women to take science. So what I would like to do today to end this presentation is that essentially taking the plan B to break the stereotype is a way of embracing diversity. And I would like to invite you to create those plan Bs, to open those spaces where counterexamples to the stereotypes will thrive and abound. And I would like that starts today, that these actions start today, here, in our minds, and with this dialogue. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope this is of help for all of you.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. Thank you so much. Now, everyone, you can see the presentation Alexandra made for TED session. So while I'm changing quickly the Alexandra, if you can keep a little while so I can change the presenter now. This is what's happening